Hello and welcome to Rathod's IS. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of September 21st, 2023. So without wasting any time, let us see the topics that are very important from our UPSC point of view and even from your state public service examination point of view. So we are going to discuss each and every article which is important from your competitive examinations. So please be focused and don't skip the video, and you can watch until last so that you will be getting lot of important points from your examination point of view. And one more thing here is, if you are visiting this channel Rathod's IS Academy for the first time, please do subscribe. And if you really like the video, please hit the like button as well. So first important topic here is Lok Sabha passes historic women's reservation bill. So already in our yesterday's video, we saw that we have a special session in our parliament. So in this special session, we are going to pass three important bills. So one such important bill which had been introduced in Lok Sabha is reservation for women. But how much percentage? That is 33% of reservation for women in both Legislative Assembly and as well as in Lok Sabha. So finally, yes, this bill passed in Lok Sabha. And we have to see, after this bill is passed in first house, it will be placed in second house. And once this bill is passed in the second house also, then that bill will be placed before President for assent. So assent is nothing but just we need sign of President. But this sign is not much easy because President has veto powers here. For example, he can resend the bill or she can resend the bill to House for reconsideration, or sometimes she can reject the bill directly, right? And she can keep that bill in pocket, that is called as pocket veto. So there are different types of vetoes which are present for the President for giving of assent to the bill. So after assent of President, that is after President is giving signature, then that bill will become an act and that will be published in Public Gazette. So here what exactly you have to focus? You need to focus on what are the provisions under this women reservation bill, and historically also whether even before our independence whether there is any concept of talking of reservation for women or not. So those things that you have to remember. And even you have to go through your Lakshmikant polity book and you have to see the passage of the bill. So what is the process involved in the passage of bill? So all these are very important. And one more thing here is, you can also see relevant articles regarding the amendments as well. Okay, so these are the some important things that you have to remember regarding this first topic. And second topic here is census and delimitation work after LS polls, says Shah. So nothing but our Union Home Minister, he gave a statement that after one census is done, then only we can come up with delimitation. So when after this polls, okay, after Lok Sabha polls, we are going to come up with the census, and after once we got the census data, then we can have the delimitation. So here you have to focus on what is this delimitation. So what is this delimitation process? So who are the members of this delimitation commission? Because already there was prelims question which asked regarding this delimitation. So this topic is at most important. So we can't predict like whether the same question will appear in your next prelims or not, because you are going to have census soon, right? So here if you are talking about census, census is nothing but we are going to get data. So data regarding population. So once in every 10 years we will be having census. But if you see tragedy in this 2021, so in this 2021 we were under this COVID-19 pandemic. We were under this COVID-19 pandemic. So because of this, yes, there is delay in these two phases of data collection under this census. So because of this, we are expecting that census will be started soon and we are going to get the data. After that, we will be having delimitation. So this topic is also very important, and even if you see in your Lakshmikant, so there is a separate topic regarding delimitation. You can go through that once. And next topic is India issues a tit for tat travel advisory for Canada. So you know that there is adversary between India and Canada is going on. So between India and Canada, so we are having some issues. So this issue which is regarding Sikhs. So leader of Sikh who had been died. So Canada says that India's hand is there regarding the death of that leader. So that means here we can see in Canada anti-India sentiments are going on. Anti-India sentiments are going on. Is it clear so far? And actually these Sikhs who are present in Canada, they are trying to provoke Khalistan movement again. Right? So because of this, there is some issues between India and Canada, and we discussed that topic in our yesterday's lecture clearly. But here we have to focus on what is this travel advisory. If you see in Canada, we have significant population. We have significant population of Sikhs. So there were a number of students from India. They are also studying in this Canada. So here you can call them as Indian diaspora. So this Indian diaspora, they are facing now threats from this Sikhs. So because of this, India issued this travel advisory. So earlier Canada also issued this travel advisory for people who are present in Jammu and Kashmir. So in tit for tat, now India also issued this travel advisory for diaspora which is present in Canada. So whenever they are traveling outside, they have to be at most careful. Okay, so these are the three important topics that you have to see from your front page. So now let us try to see detailed analysis regarding these topics. So first topic, it is about census and delimitation. So this topic is important from your GS paper 1, GS paper 2 under polity. So here you can expect both prelims and mains based question here. So you can expect prelims question from Delimitation Commission. So you can see question from this Delimitation Commission. So what is this delimitation? Who are the members of this delimitation? So whatever the thing that mainly decided, the decision by this Delimitation Commission, whether it is challengeable in court of law or not. So all those things that you have to remember from prelims. And from mains point of view, you can get analysis based question. You can get analysis based question. Okay, so this should be very much clear in your mind whenever you are reading newspaper. Actually, many students, you are reading newspaper in a wrong way. Because of that, understanding current affairs is becoming day by day very difficult for them. So especially the beginners who started newspaper, so try to connect static with your dynamic. Then only it will be very helpful for your preparation and you will be moving in a right way. So I will make you to learn like how to read newspaper, don't worry. And let us see the context. So context says that according to 128th Constitutional Amendment Bill, so we came up with this Nari Shakti Vandan Abhiyan. So actually I covered this article, okay, because why we are talking about this Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, that is nothing but reservation for women. Okay, so this reservation is based on the new bill which is recently passed in Lok Sabha. It talks about 33% of reservation. So how can we ensure 33% of reservation for women? We need proper data, right? So recently we do not have this 2021 census data. So after once we are getting this 2021 census data, based on that 33% of reservation will be given to women in Lok Sabha and as well as state legislative assembly. So this is the thing which mainly said in this article. So because of this, after this Lok Sabha polls, yes, we are going to have the decennial census and delimitation. After that we are going to get this 33% reservation. So how far is it correct? So please let me know how far is it correct. So after once Lok Sabha elections had been done, how can we ensure there is a reservation for women? Right? You can see there is something wrong here in this statement which is given by government. Am I right? So please let me know your comment regarding what is your opinion behind this move of government. Okay, I am not saying you to think against government, but you have to think, so what it is going to be impacted. So what will be the effect of this move? So here our Union Home Minister said that the census and delimitation exercise will be conducted immediately after general election. So after general election we are going to have this census and as well as delimitation. So after that only we are going to provide 33% of reservation for women in Lok Sabha and Legislative Assembly. So he also said that last census data that we are having is 2011 census. Right? So we are going to have this 2021 census data. After that only we can provide this reservation. And here you have to focus on what is this delimitation. So delimitation is nothing but, in general sense, it is the act or it is a process of fixing limits or boundaries of territorial constituencies. So we will be having territorial constituencies, right? So we are coming up with deciding the boundaries or deciding the limits, okay, to represent the changes in the population. So always you know that population will be increasing in India, and India is going to be the top most populous country in the world soon, and we are also going to beat China. So we are having that credit, right? So because of this increasing of population, what happened? We need to also come up with changing of this constituency boundaries. So this process is called as delimitation. And the delimitation commission is to work without any executive influence. So it can be done without executive influence. So this will be important prelims fact. There will be no executive influence in this delimitation. And the constitution which also mandates that commission's order, they are final, and these orders cannot be questioned in the court of law. So this is a prelim statement which is given once. So because of that you have to focus on that. So whatever the order which is given by this delimitation commission, it is final and it cannot be questioned before any court of law. And this one is when the orders of delimitation commission, they are laid before Lok Sabha or Legislative Assembly, they cannot affect any modification in that orders. So even when we are placing that orders before Lok Sabha and Assembly also, there will be no change. Okay, that means we can say there is unlimited powers. There is unlimited powers which is given to this delimitation commission regarding this setting up of boundaries for territorial constituencies. And one more thing here is, what is the need of this delimitation commission or this delimitation? So here we have to ensure equal representation to equal segments of population. So we are dividing into constituencies, right? So in these constituencies we have to see that equal population is there, equal number of voters. So for that here we need this delimitation commission. So to follow the principle of one vote, one value, yes, we need to go for this delimitation. And the composition of this delimitation commission is nothing but, so this commission is appointed by President of India. Sometimes UPSC may play game here, like it will be saying like it will be decided by governor, or it will be decided by Prime Minister, or Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister, like that. So it is appointed by President of India. You have to keep this point in your mind. And also works in collaboration with Election Commission of India. And members include retired Supreme Court Judge, Chief Election Commissioner and respective state election commissioners. So one more important current affairs that you can connect here is removal of CJI from Select Committee, from Selection Committee of Election Commissioners and CEC. So as you all know that in Selection Committee we will be having 3 members. So one member is CJI, but recently government passed a bill to remove CJI and to in that place we have to place cabinet minister, and this cabinet minister will be nominated by Prime Minister. That means here there is increased executive control. Correct? So here we have election commissioners and state election commissioners. So because of this there might be, I'm saying might be, I'm not using shall here, I'm using might. So there might be increase of executive control in this delimitation commission. Is that clear? So in this way you have to connect one current affairs with another current affairs, then only you can write a very good multi-dimensional answer. Is it clear? I want to give you one prelims question for the practice. So here the first statement. So let us see the question first. With reference to delimitation commission, consider the following statements, and there are 2 statements given. So first one is the orders of delimitation commission cannot be challenged in the court of law. So that is the thing that we discussed, right? It cannot be challenged in the court of law. And second statement is when the orders of delimitation commission they are laid before Lok Sabha and the state legislative assembly, they cannot affect any modification in the orders. Yes, that point also we saw. So these 2 are correct, and here you have to identify which are the statements given above. They are correct. So both answer is C. So before knowing this concept, it might be very hard or difficult for you, right, to answer such type of questions. But if you understand the concept in depth, then you can easily answer those prelims questions. Is it clear? And one more thing here is, if you have any doubts, so please post your doubts in the comment section also, so that we will be discussing your doubts in the next class. And next topic is India issues a tit for tat travel advisory for Canada. So this topic here we have to focus on what is this travel advisory. This topic is important from GS paper 2 under international relations. So here you can get a question like, write a small note on India and Canada relations. How this India and Canada relations are going to be affected by recent Canada government statement. Okay, so in that way you can get a question, and how it is going to affect relationship between India and Canada we discussed in our earlier lecture, that is in yesterday's class. So if you have not watched yesterday's class, you can go back and you can see yesterday's class in live session, because yesterday we had live but today we don't have live because of some technical issues, and even in yesterday's live also we had some glitches. So because of that we don't want to take any risk regarding this technical issues whenever we are going on live. So today we came up with this recorded lecture. And if you see the context, it says that citing politically condoned violence, India on Thursday issued a travel advisory for all Indian nationals in Canada, including students, and even Indian government urged them to register with Indian missions. So there is violence against Indians seen in Canada. So because of this, India issued this advisory for students and as well as other Indian nationals, right? So here the announcement which is made by MEA, Ministry of External Affairs, which came after media reports suggested that Canada issued a travel advisory especially for Jammu and Kashmir. So especially for Jammu and Kashmir, Canada issued this advisory. So as soon as Canada issued that, India for tit for tat India also issued this travel advisory for Indian nationals in Canada. So if you're focusing on some details, it said that why, what is the reason for the deterioration of relationship between India and Canada? So here, Prime Minister of Canada, he made a statement. He said that Indian government is involved in killing Khalistani leader, and the name of that leader is Hardeep Singh Nijjar. So because of this, it led to diplomatic disturbances between India and Canada relations. So because of this, India advised citizens of India who are living in Canada to exercise utmost caution due to growing anti-India activities, and there is increasing of communal violence, increasing of hate crimes in Canada. So because of this, Indian government said that whenever Indian nationals are going outside, so they have to be extreme cautious. And in an advisory which aimed that Indian nationals and students in Canada and citizens, they are planning to travel to the country, then the External Affairs Minister said that there were also threats against the member of Indian community who opposes anti-Indian agenda. So whenever people from India who are staying in Canada, whenever they are showing against anti-India agenda, so they are facing some threats. And in the view of growing anti-India activities in Canada, and there is increased hate crimes and criminal violence is seen in Canada. So what happened because of this? Indian nationals, there are those contemplating travel, they are urged to exercise utmost caution. So in this advisory, and why this decision came up by Indian government? Because recently there are threats have been seen. Particularly in these threats, they are targeted Indian nationals, Indian diplomats, and also some sections of Indian community who oppose this anti-India agenda. So because of this advisory came up by Government of India. So that's it, nothing more, nothing less, it is more than enough. And next topic is study throws light on how gravitational instabilities affect evolution of galaxies. So what is the meaning of galaxy? And I want to ask you one more question. Our solar system is present in which galaxy? So what is the name of galaxy in which our solar system is present? So please let me know what all comes under solar system. So whether exoplanets comes under the solar system or not. Let me know the answers for these questions in the comment box. Because in our yesterday's geography live class, we discussed this topic of solar system and we started our world geography, right? So because of this, I am asking this question, and the students who attended that class, they will be easily answering that questions that I asked now. And even one more question I want to ask, that is, what is Oort cloud? Where we will study this Oort cloud concept. So now let us see context here. So recently one study conducted by IIA, that is Indian Institute of Astrophysics. So this study which helpful to understand gravitational instabilities, they are connected to galaxy evolution. So for the evolution of these galaxies, gravitational instabilities also play an important role. So here this IIA which tried to explore regarding how these gravitational instabilities, they are connected to some events in our evolution of galaxies like star formation, gas fraction, time scale for the growth of gravitational instabilities, and finally they even observed morphology regarding this. So actually in those studies they compared star formation rate, gas fraction and time scale etc. with the nearby galaxies. So in galaxies we will be having different types like spiral galaxy, we have elliptical galaxy, and we have irregular galaxy. So in spiral galaxy it will be like the most star formation will be happening here, and we can see new stars are present in this spiral galaxy, and the concentration of the stars, they are present at the center. But in this elliptical galaxies, So old stars are present and there is no even distribution of stars. Irregular means irregular as usual. So whenever they compared the nearby galaxies with the spiral and elliptical, they found yes, there is a change. So that is the thing which mainly said. And they compared or they investigated about 175 galaxies. They compared 175 galaxies, and in this study they understand that gravitational stability, which is very much helpful, okay, regarding this events like star formation, time scale, etc. And even they found that spiral galaxy or spherical galaxies like Milky Way galaxy, they exhibit higher median star formation rate. So in spiral galaxies there is a higher star formation rate and lower stability and lower gas fraction and smaller time scale for growth of gravitational instabilities. Okay, so in this way here this study says that gravitational instabilities in the spirals, they rapidly convert a substantial amount of gas into stars. So in this spiral, so there is a fast formation of stars is seen. Because of this we can see lot of new stars in the spiral galaxies. So because of this what happened? That leads to there is decreasing of gas reservoirs. So here we have elliptical, irregular and spiral. So as I said, our solar system which belongs to this Milky Way galaxy, it belongs to this spiral galaxy. So in this spiral galaxy we can see new stars will be formed. So gas is converted into stars soon. So because of this there is decreased level of gas. And the star concentration is seen at the center, that you can see in the image. But in this elliptical we can see large stars will be there and there is unequal or uneven presentation. Okay, and even we can see there will be no new star formation. So that we can see lot of gas. So because of this you can see there is a spreading like this. Unlike this spiral galaxy. I hope you understand the difference. So from this image also there is a chance of getting your prelims question. So if you want, you can draw this image. Is it clear? Shall we move on? And next topic is Vietnam, key piece of America's Indo-Pacific puzzle. So America, it wants to increase its influence in Indo-Pacific region. So because of this it is coming in contact with the countries which are sharing boundary with Indo-Pacific region. So in this context, in US recently came up with the talks with Vietnam regarding this comprehensive strategic partnership with Vietnam. So now let us try to see how US is coming towards the countries which are sharing boundaries with this Indo-Pacific region and how it wants to counter this China. So this is the idea of this article and that you have to remember. Actually US, which is increasing its presence in Indo-Pacific region to counter China. So why there is increased presence of US? That is to counter China. So because of this it is coming and approaching the countries where there are issues with China. So first one is ties with Vietnam. So recently US President, he visited this Vietnam. And in this visit, two countries, they came up with this comprehensive strategic partnership. And actually, why Vietnam? Because Vietnam already shares a sensitive land border with China, and even in South China Sea also there is issue with China. There is maritime boundary issue and as well as continental boundary issue with China. Okay, that is the problem of Vietnam. And even US also came up with ties with Philippines. So there is a significant enhancement of Philippines military alliance with US recently. So because of this partnership between US and Philippines, now US can have access to the key bases in Philippines after a period of several years without such access. And US has been granted permission to use 4 additional bases in the country. So whenever US is getting access to the bases, that means it can increase its military power. And even US came up with this trilateral security framework. So this trilateral means between 3 countries. So one is USA, second is Japan, and third one is South Korea. So this is trilateral alliance. And even US also came up with this multi-tiered security framework in this Indo-Pacific region. So in this multi-tiered security framework, it came up with alliance with the countries like Vietnam, Singapore and Thailand. So it is covering almost all the countries which are sharing boundary with this Indo-Pacific region. And even AUKUS is nothing but Australia, UK and US. So these are the 3 countries which are part, that is Australia, UK and US. They also committed to empower Australia to become a nuclear submarine capable nation, so that what happens, it can increase the naval capabilities of Australia, right? So that it can provide security in this Indo-Pacific region. And if you see Australia and as well as US, they are part of Quad even, right? So these are some approaches which are doing by US to improve or to increase its enhance its presence in this Indo-Pacific region. So now let us see what is Indian approach towards this Indo-Pacific. We have to read this because whenever you are preparing for any competitive examination, you have to see from Indian side. So India is also increasing its presence or role, and India is also willing to participate actively in this Indo-US Pacific strategy. And recently we finalized 3 foundational agreements, and these agreements will be helpful for increasing of interoperability between armed forces of both nations. And even it will be also very much important such that we can also secure the ship repair agreement. So we also came up with this ship repair agreements, so that what happened, we can use these ports for the repairing and as well as refitment, so that we can enhance the presence of our security system in the waters. And next topic is legislating change. So this article is about women reservation bill. So what are the advantages? In yesterday's lecture we discussed, right? That will lead to social empowerment, that will lead to increasing of women participation in politics, and women related issues can be easily heard, right? And we can also promote gender equality in the society. Okay, we can also promote gender equality in the society. And what else? So we can also add women's contribution towards economy, and even we can enhance security of women in the workplaces, right? So these are some important advantages. So now let us see this topic in detail from UPSC point of view. So in Lok Sabha this bill has been tabled, and finally this bill has been even passed in Lok Sabha, and we have to wait and see whether this bill is going to pass in Rajya Sabha or not in this special session. So now let us see what are the key provisions of this Women Reservation Bill of 2023. So first one is, here we are talking about reservation for women. We are talking about reservation for women, that is about 1/3 of all seats for women in Lok Sabha and Legislative Assembly. We are talking about that, and even in the Legislative Assemblies of UTs. And next one here is, so this reservation bill will also extend it to the seats reserved for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. So this is the first important thing. And second one is commencement of reservation. So reservation will be effective once we get this census data of 2021 census. And next one is period of reservation. So there is a limited period, that is just 15 years. So after this 15 years there will be no reservation, or else we don't know that at the time of this 15 years, that means our next generation will be coming. So there might be one more constitutional amendment that can be come up so that we can extend this reservation further. And next one is rotation of seats. So seats which are reserved for this woman will be rotated after each delimitation as determined by law made by Parliament. Okay, so these are the 4 important provisions under this key bill. And now let us see the history of reservation for women. So what are the movements, what are the different committees even before we got independence? So even during this national movement, the 3 women bodies, they sent a letter to the British Prime Minister in 1931. So at that time itself, this women bodies, they asked for political reservation for women. And next one is Constituent Assembly. So the issue of women reservation also came up in Constituent Assembly debates. So in this Constituent Assembly debates also they talked about this women reservation. But this women reservation has been rejected in that Constituent Assembly debates on the grounds that democracy is expected to give representation to all groups. Why there is a need for separate reservation for women? So this was the question which arose. And the Committee on the Status of Women in India 1971 and the National Perspective Plan for Women in 1988. So these are the 2 important committees. They gave the recommendations regarding reservation for women, and both these committees they gave recommendations that yes, we need reservation for women in local bodies. So because of that, we came up with the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts. They talk about local self-government. So we came up with panchayats and municipalities, and in that we came with a reservation of 33% for women in the local bodies. Am I right? Yes. So now I want to give you one mains question. Try to write answer for this question. So mains question here is, what are the key challenges hindering the passage of Women's Reservation Bill, which seeks to reserve 33% of seats in the Parliament and Legislative Assembly for women in India? How can a way forward be established to address these challenges effectively? That means in IVC format, in introduction, you can write about what is this bill, that is about Women Reservation Bill of 2023. Just give a brief background, like in Lok Sabha it had been passed, that's it. In body you have to write 2 important things. The first one is what are the challenges for passing of this bill, and you have to write about even way forward, or what are the measures can be taken. And finally you can conclude this answer. Okay, is it clear regarding the structure of answer for this question? So try to write answer for this question, and answer should not be more than 250 words. So try to write answer within word limit. Is it clear? So how many of you attended yesterday's free live class of geography? So one thing I found that initially when we started this session, there are more than 70 students that joined, but by the end only 40 students they retained. So what about the rest? What is the problem? What happened? So again we are giving one more chance. So you can join the today's live also. It's free of cost. And this is going to be started at 6 p.m. sharp, and it is 2 hours class, that means 6 to 8 p.m. So yesterday's class we discussed about the syllabus and detailed micro listing of topics and how to read and how to approach the geography, and many students they got benefited from that class, I know that. And we started with the solar system from our world geography. So we are going to see other topics like theories of origin of solar system. Okay, and we are going to see the different theories regarding the solar system in today's class. So you can attend that class, and here we are also giving the meeting ID and password. So you can use this meeting ID and password to join the class at 6 p.m. Okay, so in this course we are covering entire your Indian geography and world geography within 60 hours. And if you have watched or if you have attended yesterday's live, So you will be knowing that we are discussing each and every subtopic, and even micro data also we are going to see, and we are going to have even prelims and mains questions practice, and you are going to get the recorded classes. Recorded classes will be given for only students who join this course, and there will be doubt clearing and mentorship will be there. So try to join this course. Even you can join today and tomorrow and even day after tomorrow. So we are going to have admissions still for the next 3 days. So you can join this course, and it's absolutely very beneficial, and I can make you a challenge like, so this type of course you can't get anywhere who are taking utmost care like me and within this limited price. Okay, try to join this course. It is very useful. So if you want to join this course, you can call me on this number 8074765513, and you can also text me. This is also the WhatsApp number as well. Okay, so this is about this course. Try to join this. And now let us move on to our Hindu page. So we discussed this first page, right? In the city page, there is nothing much important. You can leave the city page. And this state page also, I found nothing much important, and most of the articles are political articles. They will be not at all useful for your examination, so don't waste much time. So which are the articles I am showing, you can go to that, that's it. And you can directly move on to this editorial page. So here I discussed about this topic regarding this, how gravitational instabilities affect the evolution of galaxies. I discussed that. So here in this editorial page, I discussed about this article, that is Women Reservation Bill, and I discussed about this topic regarding Indo-Pacific region. And there is one article here you have to see, that is about environment and climate change. So how can we take some mitigation steps? Already we discussed that topic number of times, so that you can easily revise that topic. So without any effort, you can easily read that topic and you can easily understand that. And in this opinion page, you have to see about this Abraham Accord. So please let me know, Abraham Accord is between which and which countries? So it is between Israel and UAE, Bahrain. So it is between these three countries, Israel, UAE and Bahrain, and you have to remember this. So this might be a prelims question, we can't predict, right? And if you move forward in this text and contents, there is article regarding Pakistan's higher judiciary, but you are not bothering about the judiciary of Pakistan, because we are not even bothering about the judiciary in India. So why we have to bother about Pakistan? No use. And you can move on to this news page. Here also every article here is political article. There is nothing much important. Yes, here you can see a small article, that is regular jobs increased but unemployment still concern. So here you have to see this concept of unemployment. So unemployment is there in your economy as a separate chapter, right? So you have to understand what is the meaning of unemployment, and different types of unemployment you have to see, and even you have to collect recent data before your examination. Okay, so this is very important. And if you move on to this world page, you can see this Karabakh operation halted, says Azerbaijan. So you have to see this issue, which is a conflict zone between Azerbaijan and Armenia. So you can get a question like Karabakh, Nagorno-Karabakh is region which is present in which countries? There is Azerbaijan and Armenia. So this thing that you have to remember. And if you move on to this business page, you can see ADB, that is Asian Development Bank, lowers India's GDP growth outlook for this fiscal. So already we practiced some practice questions of prelims regarding this Asian Development Bank. So please let me know under which grouping this Asian Development Bank will comes. Okay, so that's it. So these are some important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I am concluding. So before concluding, if you are getting the new points, so please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to Rathod Science Academy, and try to join this geography live course today at 6 p.m. and the link is already given in the description box and even in the community section. So thank you so much.